This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All right, family. I want to wish you another happy Sabbath, and I'm glad you joining me today. And with that, let us bow our heads. Father Yah, we come to you once again today for another Sabbath. The water for all that you're doing, the water for all that you're going to do, the water for all that you've done. The water Kiyah Hab, the water Kiyah Kai, the water Kiyah Salawam, the water Kiyah. Father, just thank you, Abba. Just the water Kiyah for everything that you have done. Father, Yah, I just want to tell you that I appreciate and I know we all do, and we pray that you continue to walk with us and keep us and love us as only you can. Be our guide and be our way, be our teacher, be our eyes and be our strength. Father, Yah, we just know that you are all things and you can be many more. You are our completion. You are our whole. And the water, we thank you for that. So, Father, we thank you for your son, Mashiach Yahweh Shai, our Savior, our King, our friend, our teacher, our mentor, our brother, our mediator. The water for him, Father. The water so that you allow him to be there for us, and the water for him taking on that task. Father Yahweh, again, I just want to say thank you for everything. And with that, Father Yahweh, say hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All right. Today, brothers and sisters, I have I don't know if you want to call it a class or you just want to call it a conversation. Just up to you. But I am going to give you some biblical facts, and I'm going to give you my understanding of the word. Today, I'm going to talk about who they are and who we are. And who are we? Now, we already know we the Israelites, but this is not what I mean. Let me give you what I'm talking about. We're going to take all our information today, and we're going to lead with what this class is mainly about. And it's going to be controversial for so many because many don't like this verse. This is the verse that most Israelites stay away from. In these groups and in these camps, they run from this verse because it put a stamper on what they push out, especially their 10-tribe chart, especially when they say color doesn't matter when it comes to the Israelites, because it does. Now, I'm going to go into that in more details. But first, I'm going to give you the main verse that we need to, this is based on, and it's going to be Isaiah 29 and 22. Isaiah 29 and 22. You can get that if you want. I'd like for you to read it for yourself as well. Isaiah 29 and 22. And it reads, and therefore thus says Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob, concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed. Jacob shall not now be ashamed. Neither shall his face now wax pale. I'm going to repeat that last part. Neither shall his face now wax pale. Now, I'm giving you this verse because I know a lot of you are going to say, because if you look up the word wax, the word wax pale, H2357, it also say it can mean ashamed. But the problem with you saying that it means ashamed is the verse itself speaks of a shame already. I give you a sample. It says, therefore thus says Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed. It already spoke of a shame. Now it says, neither shall his face now wax pale. So you can't say he's saying it's going to be a shame and a shame. He just said that Jacob will not be ashamed. So even though wax pale can mean a form of shame, but in this instance, I believe it means exactly what it says, which is the second definition of the word wax pale, which is to grow white or pale, grow white or pale, or to be bleached. Whiteness, and that's in the Strong's H2357. In the Lexicon, it gives a definition of to be white or to become pale. I'm going to repeat, or to become pale. Who are the pale people in this world? So I'm going to read that verse again, but I'm going to read it the way I believe it's supposed to be read. And it said, therefore shall Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now be pale. That's what it says. So now this becomes a problem for a lot of camps because they have some pale people in there. Now the Bible said they will not wax pale. And I'm going to believe the Father with all his strength and all his glory and all his power, and he created a universe that he can make sure that his people don't wax pale or become pale. Now his chosen. Now why is that important? I'm going to go into why we understand that the Most High is very particular of who he chose, and in the generations he was determined to keep. He was determined to keep the generations to be pure, to stay within their own. And I believe that he can do that. Now, I know people say, well, there's a lot of mixing. Yeah, but we're going to go into the 3 generations where you can bleed out any of the mixing that was in there. Even in Azra, they were mixing, but that was a problem, and they were cursed and they were punished. But we go into that. But again, they put an effort into making sure they bleed out any of the mixed nations, and they tried not to ever go 3 generations into any nation to bleed out the Israelite genetic. At least that's what they tried to preach, and that's what they tried to push. And even if you did go 3 generations out, you bled out the Israelite that was in you anyway. So Exodus 3:15, it reads, and God said moreover unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yahweh, God of your fathers, Elohim of Abraham, and Elohim of Isaac, and Elohim of Jacob, have sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memory unto all generations. Why I'm saying that is because I don't care if you believe that somehow man can mix out the Israelites. No, he can't. There was always a remnant, and they always kept the culture, and they always maintained the ability to keep their seed what it was. Now, were there mixing in between? Yes, but it wasn't done to the 3rd generation. Those who continue to stay in the line of the seed of Yasriala stayed within that 3 generations. Even if they popped out of their generation here and there, they went back to the Israelites. That's why in Azareth, that was a big thing, because they understood that they must stay within their own. And even if you did, it was more or less you married out on your own, but you married back into. That's what Ezra was about, making them marry back into and punishing those who went outside of their seed and making them marry back into the seed that they supposed to marry into, which was the Israelites. They did not want it to go 3 generations out. And Deuteronomy 7:6 and 7:7 and 7 and 8. I'm going to read those because I want you to understand that the Most High chose a particular people, not only for who they were, but He chose a particular people who had particular characters, who had a particular culture, who had a particular style of living, had a particular look. That is the look He wanted. That is what He desired. I don't care if the other nations were mixed in some point, but they did not mix to the point where they bled out what the characteristics which the Most High chose, because He would not allow it. And those who did, they become Gentiles. And then they live that Gentile life and they stay in that Gentile life, and that's who they become. For those who bled out in the third generations, which I'm going to go into later, and I'm going to explain it in the better details. But first, I want to read Deuteronomy 7:6, and it reads, "For thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy Elohim, Elohim thy Yahweh thy Elohim hath chosen thee to be a special people unto Himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth." Now I'm going to keep reading. "And Yahweh did not set His love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more numbered than the people, for ye were a fewest of all people." Deuteronomy 7:8. "But because Yahweh loved you, and because He had kept an oath with He had sworn unto your fathers, He sworn an oath. Have Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondage from the hand of the Pharaoh, king of Egypt." Now, the reason why I say that, because Yahweh made an oath. And an oath means that He's going to keep your generation to your generation. That oath is through your seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And if you believe the Father can do all these miracles, you don't think He can make sure that I'm gonna be honest with that you do not wax pale? That you do not wax pale? Are you serious? So I know a lot of groups got these people in there that as pale as can be. And the Bible clearly said that he neither will He allow you to wax pale. Because they're not white, they're pale. The Bible clearly knows that. You could see that. So what I'm trying to say to you, I believe pale people, who y'all may call white, are not the Israelites, or can neither be the Israelites according to the Bible. I'm telling you why. Because the Father said He will not let them wax pale. I'm gonna believe what He said. So you're gonna tell me that well, he's this and that. If he go 3 generations back as an Israelite, and they bled him out with white and white, that's how they bleed you out in 3 generations. If I have a black child who married, I have a daughter who marries a white man, and then a white man has a child. They have a child together, my daughter and my wife. And then my daughter child marries another white man. Now that baby is going to become lighter and lighter. And then they have a child. And then that child marries another white man. I have bled out the black in that child. They have bled it out. 3 generations. Black, white, white, white. Started off mixed, black and white. Then the second generation, then the third generation. The black is basically gone. Most all the features are now going to be according to Japhet. It is what it is. But if you can pop back that second generation, and they marry back an Israelite, then that seed becomes strong, and that child become more an Israelite, then they become of Japheth from that male seed. It's not complicated. I just want to say that the Most High can preserve whatever He wants to preserve. Anybody think that because man think they can do what they want to do and they can mix this and they can mix that and they can change stuff? No, the Most High created everybody. He knows what it takes to keep a generation to stay within the sea line that He wanted, and He knows what it takes not to. We didn't design ourselves; He designed us. Our DNA sequences and all these things that we're learning in this future is not new to Him. It's new to us. Our Creator knows all this. And in our design, He designed us to do certain things. And He designed us to be certain ways. Like, I truly believe the nature of Caucasian people is being ruthless. I'm just going to say, like I said, it's 98% of them have a natural instinct to be self-survival, but they're very selfish and they don't care what they have to do to get to where they at. I always say that, their people did a lot of killing, murdering, stealing, and raping, and you name it, to get to where they at. To be in the position they in, they did a lot of evil, and they know this. And then most of them are proud that what their great 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 grandparents did, and they would never relinquish that power or that authority because of what they did. It didn't make sense. My great grandfather did a lot of rape and killing and everything else, so that my grandkids, so my kids, and my grandkids can be a Caucasian person, can have a better opportunity in this world. No, I'm not going to be against what they did. I might not like what they did, but they did it for me, and they did it for my future generation, so that we can be prosperous. Now, is that wicked as hell? Yes, because it could have been done in a better way. Could have been done in a more fair and equality way, but this world is not about equality, and it never will be about equality. Even when Christ come back, it's not about equality. It's about doing a righteous thing. It's about doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it according to the scriptures and not according to yourself. That's it. It's not a complicated thing, and it will never be a complicated thing. We choose to make it complicated. So what I'm saying that even the ones over there in Israelis who claim that the converts over there, they are wax pale. He said, I would never, neither will allow you to be wax pale. That's a given right there. They are a synagogue of Satan. But that ain't the point to me. Uh, because when you read through part of the Israelite, the Hebrewites, or customs were that they didn't mingle with other tribes and stuff. That was their thing. Now in Nazareth they did, and they were cursed for it, and they were punished for that. They went into Assyrian, they lost after Babylon in 7 years. They lost, and then the Assyrians came in, and the Assyrians put them in captivity and stuff like that. It's because they were doing all that mixing and all that things that are not according to Scripture, not according to Torah. I'm going to give you Deuteronomy 7, 3, and 4 to explain to you how much the Father loved us and why he didn't want us to do what he did. In Deuteronomy 7 and 3, and it said, neither shalt thou make marriage with them. Talking about the other nation. Their daughters thou shalt not give unto the sons, nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy son. Deuteronomy 7:4. For they will turn away their sons from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. He did not want us to intermarry with the other nations. You know, in the Maccabees, you can read about that, the revolt. Then you can talk. Then you get into Azarites. You know, during the time of Azarites, during the Persian Empire. You know, you know, following the Babylonian exile, out of the exile, and then uh, you know, going into the Assyrian Empire, and in the around 458 BC. During all these times, we were constantly committing sins, and basically we just committing sins all the time, and that is why we were punished. But we were always, like, even Nazareth, we knew what we were doing wrong, but he always sent a prophet and put us back on line, to put us back on track. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Nazareth was to put us back on track, to get away from the marriages, going outside of marriage before we get into the 3 generation thing. That's what that was about. Maccabees were the same thing. You're going to see points in the period of the history of the Bible where we were put back on track, because we understand through scientific knowledge that it takes generations. This is a common agreement among the scientific field, that it will take 3 generations to. So, for example, it would take 3 generations to erase the black from the from and to make it white. 3 generations. This is a common. This is not my opinion. You can look it up. You're going to find this is a very common ideology and scientific theory that has been proven. 3 to 5. Some say 3 to 5. Some say 3. But we know it's a minimum of 3 generations. So we can go there. So, like, genetically speaking, there will never be a pure or a complete race. So to say that you will totally wipe out the black gene after 3 generations or 5 is not necessarily true, but you will eliminate it to a point where the traits are not just there anymore. Now, is there a extreme place where 2 white people all of a sudden have a child of color? I'm pretty sure there is. It's very, 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 very rare, but it is a possibility. All things are a possibility. But we understand if 99% of them will not do that. But, however, if you are looking at the form of standpoint of racial admixture, like interbreeding and make a lighter skin as a population, a person can have a genetic profile and physical appearance of white appearance in about 3 to 5 generations. Meaning that in 3 to 5 generations, if you marry a white woman, or a white or black woman marry a white man, and they have a child, and then that child marries a white person, and then that child marries a white person, that's the 3rd generation. You basically bled off the basically the melanin, to be honest with you, as a person. The God gift, the melanin. But that was their intent, to bleed that out. That's your choice. You want to bleed out the gift that God made so beautiful, knowing that the angels were melanin, everybody's melanin, Christ was melanin, Yahweh is melanin, everybody, all the prophets are melanated. Why would you want to be unlike them? If God thought that was beautiful, And he made you from the dust of the ground, and the further you're gonna dust, the darker the dust get. And then or Adam and Shakal were both black because they were natural creatures. They lived in their nature. They farmed. They lived outside. They loved the sun. It's like it's sort of like when they make Superman white. Now that's kind of hilarious when you really start to think about it, because Superman get his sun from the yellow sun, power from the yellow sun. If any character in the Super Kino should be black, it should have been Superman. Hell, white people can't stand the sun. Think about that. Maybe they should have said he get his power from the moon, because the moon is cold and not as bright. Then I would get that. But anyway, that's either here or there. So understanding that when Yahweh made the people from the dust of the ground, he made them brown. I ain't gonna say black, he made us brown, a beautiful brown. And I do believe he maintained that color, and he did not let us wax pale. So all these people that run around, and I'm going to say, you're going to say the 10 tribe charts, and these people are definitely wax pale on that chart. They're not our people. They're not the chosen people of the Most High. And that's not saying that they're bad people. That's not. They could be very good Gentiles, very good people, as good as the Gentiles can be. The ones that ain't trying to trample over us and step on us to get ahead, because that's what most of them do. They are still confederate against us, and it's partially not even their fault, because they look at it. When you look at it, I try to look at things on both sides. I try to look at, like, in my shoes, then I try to look at it in their shoes. In their shoes, they look at it as an opportunity to move ahead, and then the only way to move ahead is to step on people of color or brown people, especially Black Americans in America. I don't know about the other countries. I can only speak about it because as long as they step on them and keep the foot on their neck, along with the Caucasian people, the white people, they're doing the bidding of the people who are in authority. And the only way you're going to move up in a chain of authority is you do the work of the people in authority. Now you can say they can get together with us and they can fight, and they could, but that doesn't mean they're going to win. And they understand that. They understand that the only way they know they will win, at least to a point, until the white man get tired of them, because they always throw away what they use. But while they're using it, they will give it some advantages. So they figure they take those advantages and move forward. Most of them know they're being used, but that doesn't mean they don't want to fit in what they believe in, what they call a higher class. I'm not mad at them. I think it's foolish, especially when you see what is happening right now, and you see the fall of the Egyptian Empire, which is basically the Roman Empire today. Just change this look. And I'm not saying that the Egyptians were white. No, they just adopted the philosophy and all the knowledge that they stole from Timbuktu and all the other places, and they took it into the Greeks and the Romans, and then they established a system with it, and we are living in that system now. Because they're the best at stealing, they're the best at killing, they're the best at lying, they are the best at raping, they are the best at all and what evil thing you can think of. They are the best at it. And that's not being mean. It's just look at their history. You can tell it. I mean, if they go into a place, they shoot up a whole school. Hell, they go to Vegas, a guy in a hotel, he shot with 50 something people, 60. This is what they do. This is their nature. I was talking to somebody today and they said, how can you say that's their nature? I said, yeah, they were created for that. He said, what do you mean? I said, literally, they were created for that. I said, the Bible always talk about the Father being the author of our book, the beginning and the end. But every book has a villain. Every book has a good guy, and every book has a villain. His chosen people are the good guys. We know who the good guys are. That's easy. The Israelites. Although they fell and they were punished and they were cursed, he still loved them, and he's going to bring them back when Mashiach Yahushua come back. So that's we can establish that we know who the good guy is. The good guy, because he said he's the beacon on the hill, he's the light on the hill. Okay, we got it. We got it. He was chosen. He loved them. He loved me. He loved us, and we are his chosen people. So we are what's supposed to be the light on this world, the good guy. And we are, because we don't have the nature like they have. We don't have the nature to want to build a nuclear bomb to blow up the whole world. It's just not in our nature. We don't see a purpose in that, nor do we see a reason in that. I don't think any of the Semite countries have that belief or that feeling. I don't even think Iran wants a nuclear weapon. They just want the idea so people they can get advantages on it but they are Semites. They are the sons of Ishmael. So they are Semites. So it's not in their nature to want to blow up the whole world. It's just not in their nature. Now, like the Bible says, Ishmael will be a wild man. Now, is he wild? Yes. Do he do crazy things sometimes? Yes. It describes him perfectly. But he ain't wild or sick enough to want to create and blow up the whole world. That is only for the Caucasian people. And they proved it because they not only do they create them in massive, they didn't use them. So there's no doubt that they're capable of using them. It's none. In fact, they're the only people that we know for sure that are capable of using them without a doubt. Again, that's just another fact. Hiroshima, okay. Then they dropped one, they dropped two nukes. So just in case you think they had a pity me and felt sorry that I dropped a nuke, they they turned around and dropped another one. No pity. Again, the Most High is creating a book, and it's a story. The Bible is a book of stories, and in that book you have your enemy, you have your evil, you have your wicked, you have your good, you have your confused, you have your lost, you have your chosen. And in all those characteristics, there are certain nations who fall in those categories. They were used in this plot line. I can accept that. I'm not angry at so-called Caucasian people. That's their nature. It's just their nature. That's why they love to hunt and that's their nature. They love to kill. Most Caucasian people love to hunt. They grow up hunting as a child. To destroy a life for sport is not a problem for them. That's why they love their Fifth Amendment rights to carry a gun around everywhere they go, because their nature is to kill. A lot of them looking for any type of trouble to use their gun. because that gun makes them feel strong and powerful. That's where they get their power from, because they're not getting it at home. They're not getting it in the areas of normal life. Like, they're not the greatest at any real sport. They don't even have a freaking golf anymore, or hockey. Not really. They're not physically built to be dominant in anything. They thought they were dominant in golf, then Tiger Woods came and took that from them. They thought they were dominant in tennis until they opened the door, and then that was taken from them. Not anything they open up that deals with the physical, they're not going to really be dominant in. And if they are, it ain't going to be long. Because when even one may make it to a certain level, he ain't going to be there long, because they're just not made for that. It's a fluke. That person is simply a fluke. It is what it is. With that, brothers and sisters, this doesn't mean that you dislike uh, your Caucasian brothers and sisters, anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that according to Scripture, I believe that the Most High said that His Israelites will not wax pale. And I believe what He said. So you're saying, well, all the Israelites brown? Yes, there's some shade of brown. Because He doesn't lie. And I know He has the capability to make sure we don't. Nothing against any other nations. Nothing against all those who are pale, who wants to keep the Torah and follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. All praises to the Most High, because you know what? You will be received in the kingdom. You won't be on equal terms as the chosen, but you will be received. Most likely, you're going to come in as bondmen and bondwomen, and that's fine. Because if you keep the law, statutes, commandments, just like when they left Egypt, you have a certain treatment that you got, and it wasn't bad. I always tell people, it's rather to come in the kingdom as a bondman and a bondwoman, or to die, or to be tortured, or to punish outside of being in the kingdom. An example, like I always say, it's like if I had a mansion and I I have a huge mansion, 50 rooms. Sound familiar? And I let all my brothers and sisters come in, my Israelite brothers and sisters, and I let them all come in. But I let their servants come in as well, those who serve them. Or I let people come in who's going to serve me, my cooks, my people who clean the fields, the people who plant my food, the people who do all this stuff. And I am a man of Alahayim. They are still going to live a very good life. Why wouldn't, as a Gentile, would I want that? I mean, the opposite is death. So it's kind of foolish to me to think that that's a bad thing. It's a good thing. Don't get what you want all the time. You can't be in charge anymore. That the Most High clearly wants His chosen people in charge. It is what it is. He's the author. He makes the book. You can think it's unfair. The world ain't fair. Ain't nothing fair in this world. I keep telling people. I always ask people to show me one thing that they consider fair. There's nothing fair in this world. It ain't fair now. Why do it have to be fair then? Was it fair to Christ? What happened to Him? No. Why all of a sudden people think that everything's supposed to be fair? No. Just like today, black brothers and sisters, brown brothers and sisters, brown brothers and sisters who know who you are, Israelite. Just like today, we have to compromise to live in this wicked world. We have to compromise to keep doing what we have to do. We have to compromise to live with the people we know hate us. We have to compromise to watch our back every day, looking around and being careful because we worry that they're going to kill us or shoot us down in the street or put us in prison for defending ourselves. It's just every day. It is not fair. So stop looking for fair. Read your Bible, get an understanding. That's it. And if you think it's so unfair and you an Israelite and you get in the kingdom, give up what you own to give to them. Because they sure in hell won't do that for you now, and this is their kingdom, and they are flourishing. They are doing great. But they won't do it for you. And they know it's not fair. And they have no problem with that. Why do you? And with that, brothers and sisters, I'm going to let you go. Again, I'm going to wish you a happy Sabbath. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. All praises to the Most High.